Watching a deep dive into the India Today Access My India exit poll results for Punjab. What I want to do right now is take you through how the key VIP candidates are expected to fare on the 10th of March. Remember, this is not data that's been put out in the public domain so far, so you're seeing this for the first time, live exclusive on India Today. And I want to build a caveat before I put the first data out, which is to say that what you're seeing, for example, we're starting with Bhador, which is a reserved constituency where Charanjit Singh Channi is fighting for. This is to suggest to you whether the VIP candidate is popular on his seat or not. This doesn't mean that Pradeep is projecting that candidate X, Y or Z, or in this case Channi, will win. It just says whether he's likely to do well or which party is most popular on that seat. And the interesting thing, this is the first trend we are showing you this evening, that Aam Aadmi Party, according to the Access My India data, is the most popular party in the seat of Bhador, potentially suggesting that Charanjit Singh Channi on this seat could be in for a rough time. Let's now go to Chamkaur Sahib. Chamkaur Sahib is another reserved constituency. That's the key battle that Charanjit Singh Channi was fighting. Here he's up against a Charanjit Channi of the AAP and a Harmohan Singh of the BSP. Here, Pradeep Gupta is suggesting that it's a tough fight between the Congress and the AAP on Chamkaur Sahib. Basically, you want to give Charanjit Singh Channi some sleepless nights. I can see what you are doing, Mr. Gupta.
We are trying to say that in this particular seat, both the parties, the Congress and the AAP, is almost equally popular. That's what we are trying to say. There is nothing to do with sleepless night, but the fact of the matter is that on this seat, both the parties are by and large equally popular.
And in Bhador, you're suggesting that the AAP candidate is more popular than Charanjit Singh Channi, which potentially suggests that Charanjit Singh Channi could be in for a rough ride on the 10th of March.
Yes, that is true, because traditionally, last time also Bhador, Congress was placed third position. They were in the third position, but somehow Congress decided to field a chief minister over there and try and get some kind of a momentum around that seat. That's the reason, particularly, CM contesting
from
from
both seats, he's in for a rough ride. In Bhador, he's actually seen as being less popular than the AAP candidate. Not good news for the Congress's surprise pick for the chief minister's position. And if this is how it turns out on the 10th of March, then questions will be asked about whether projecting Channi was a good idea and whether Sidhu may have been a better deal in the end. So those questions will be asked, but you're only wise in hindsight. Let's come to the two Badals. I'll start with Prakash Singh Badal and then Sukhbir Badal. In Lambi, which is where Prakash Singh Badal Sr. comes from, he's up against Gurmeet Singh of the AAP and Jagpal Singh of the Congress. Here, it's a tough fight between Akalis and the Aam Aadmi Party, which suggests that the battle could end up with either of these candidates winning, potentially suggesting that there is a chance that Badal Senior, which would be a big story on the 10th of March, if it happens like that, Badal Senior could be in a tricky position at different times on the 10th of March. That's in Lambi. Let's now go to Jalalabad, where Prakash Singh Badal's son, the former Deputy Chief Minister Sukhbir Singh Badal, fights. Here you've got Jagdeep Kamboj of the Aam Aadmi Party and Mohan Singh of the Congress. Here again, it's a tough fight between the Akalis and the Aam Aadmi Party, suggesting it's not a clear victory for Sukhbir. The data suggests it's a tough fight. I just want to say that I am only giving you the information I have received from Pradeep Gupta. So don't blame me later if this is now how it turns out. And we're only giving you a sense, because this is granular seat-by-seat polling, to give you a sense of what the numbers are suggesting. It's a tough fight between the AAP and the Akalis in Jalalabad, which is where Sukhbir Singh Badal comes from. And I'm going to wear a helmet, I'm going to wear a bulletproof jacket just to be safe and secure on the 10th. But this is part of our coverage and to give you a sense of the VIP seats. Both the Badals, you think, could be in a tough spot?
Not exactly both the Badals, but I would say Lambi is traditionally being a senior Badal seat. So I don't see much of a difference there. I mean, there should not be any problem when it comes to when senior Badal. But on Jalalabad, where the junior Badal is there, both the party, I am not getting onto the personal this kind of thing, because when we ask which party is popular on a particular polling day. That is where equally the same number for Aam Aadmi Party and Junior Badal on Jalalabad seat. That's what we are saying.
Okay, let's now come to Patiala. This is where Captain Amarinder Singh contests from. It's been his pocket borough for decades. And the interesting thing is that you've actually got Pradeep Gupta suggesting that Ajit Pal Singh Kohli of the Aam Aadmi Party is more popular than Captain Amarinder Singh in Patiala, which, given the fact that his family is the erstwhile rulers of Patiala, that would be a real shake-up for Captain Saab if that's how it turns out on the 10th of March.
This is going to be, I think, biggest surprise if it happens. This is going to be the biggest surprise, because when our people ask which party is more popular here, I mean, most of them said Aam Aadmi Party.
Which would be a political earthquake of sorts. If Amarinder Singh, in his last leg as a politician, loses on his home seat in Patiala, there would be big questions about whether he made the right move by joining and allying with the BJP as part of the NDA alliance, or whether he should have just walked out into the sunset with his head held high as the former chief minister. Did he make a big mistake? His overall party also not seeming to do well. Okay, from Patiala, let's go to Amritsar East. Amritsar East, mind you, is the most high-profile battle of the Punjab elections. Over here, Congress's heavyweight candidate Navjot Singh Sidhu is up against Bikram Singh Majithia. The lady that you see on your screen is Jivanjot Kaur. She's from the Aam Aadmi Party. But the battle, at least in terms of perception, was between Majithia and Sidhu. It's a very, very personal battle between these two. Majithia, when he was key minister in the Badal government, was constantly attacked by Sidhu as being a drug baron. Majithia hated that charge, said it is untrue, and now he came to Amritsar East to teach Navjot Singh Sidhu a lesson. However, the poll done again by Pradeep Gupta of the Access My India suggests that in the seat of Amritsar East, it's actually a tough fight between Congress and AAP. So you're saying the battle from your data is between Navjot Singh Sidhu and Jivanjot Kaur, with Bikram Singh Majithia being less popular than those two.
Yes, the order is in, the top two parties are more popular, which is first is the Congress and second is the Aam Aadmi Party, and the third one was the SAD.